every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. Hi, I'm Frank Komalape. Our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari meets the nation's security chiefs for the second time within a week behind closed doors. Also in this program, the group of senators opposed to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President are set to challenge the election in court. And the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the fraud charges filed against a former governor of Bayelsa State, Jimmy Praisiva, as EFCC kicks. And outside Nigeria, the United States is to send up to 450 military trainers to Iraq in the fight against Islamic State. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we'll begin now with the President Muhammadu Buhari, which has met the nation's security chief for the second time within a week. The meeting, which held behind closed doors, was attended by National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, Chief of Defense Staff Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, and Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Usman Jibrin, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Defense Aliyu, also briefed State House of Correspondent at the end of the meeting.
We came to brief Mr. President on the meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Commission and Benin, which is with the head of states holding tomorrow. On the arrangement on the meeting held between the Chief of Defense of the Lake Chad Basin and the Ministers of Defense, which is culminating into the President's meeting.
Away from there now, Senate President Bukola Saraki on Wednesday administered the oath of office and senators elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress who were absent from Tuesday's inauguration. 28 senators, including Ahmed Lawan and George Akume, were sworn in, and all the federal lawmakers took turns to shake hands with the Senate President. Senator Oluremi Tinubu, however, chose not to shake hands with Saraki. Meanwhile, the group of senators opposed to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President are heading to the law courts. The senators who were at the International Conference Center also at the time of inauguration on Tuesday said at a news conference in Abuja that 57 senators cannot elect a Senate President. They described the election as unconstitutional and insisted that they were heading for the courts to challenge Saraki's election.
The first sign of a looming intra-party crisis was this act of disregard for protocol by Senator Oluremi Tinubu. This was soon followed by protestation by members of the Lawan group on the manner of Saraki's emergence.
Did the Constitution says that you must do it at so-so time? Did the Constitution say so? So there is discretion in it. So if there is no quorum in it, so many times we come to the chamber, we'll sit down and we'll have to wait for some members to come because we don't have quorum.
In driving for a united Senate, it should be reasonable to accommodate. And if the desire is not to accommodate, but wherever anyone has advantage, he uses it maximally.
There was a counter position, even though the Senate was not prepared to entertain the Lawan group's position.
Thirdly, I hereby stand to second the motion ably moved by the Deputy Senate President. I so second.
The group later addressed the press on their grievances and their intention.
Many senators came there after the event was done. And the most important aspect of electing any presiding officer of the Senate revolves around nomination. Every senator eligible must be present when nomination is made and closed. So when 53 senators are outside and you close nomination, definitely quorum has not been formed.
This is the first time we are witnessing this sad event that took place yesterday. In 2007, all of us were present. In 2011, all of us were also present. Yesterday, only 57 or 56 were present. That is most unprecedented in the history of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Senate, however, insists that President Buhari did not summon a meeting of APC senators. It also dismissed claims that Saraki's emergence was not in line with constitutional provisions.
On the issue of quorum, it is very clear, very, very clear. This is the standing orders of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Order 10 is clear. Order 10.1. The quorum of the Senate shall be 1/3 of the members of the Senate. I no go school. Please, 1/3 of 109 is what? 38. 1/3 of 109 is what? 38. And we had 76 people in attendance yesterday. I don't understand though.
And although the Lawan group had made known its plan to go to court,
formed.
Senators of like minds maintain that APC members in the Senate are not divided. This is in spite of what appears like a brewing leadership crisis in a Senate that has for 8 years been stable. The Senate had since adjourned to June 23.
And now senators loyal to Senate President Bukola Saraki are insisting that President Muhammadu Buhari could not have summoned a meeting at the same time the 8th National Assembly was to be inaugurated. This was the explanation for showing up at the complex rather than attend a meeting at the International Conference Center. They also argued that there were at least 74 senators in the chamber of the day. Saraki emerged as Senate President. Spokesman for the group, Dino Melai, said at a news conference shortly after plenary that the inauguration and subsequent election was in line with due process.
Sent a proclamation letter to the National Assembly. And in that proclamation letter, it stated categorically that the proclamation of the 8th Senate will be done at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. of the 9th of June 2015. How can Mr. President, that we know, in one hand send a letter of proclamation to the National Assembly and in the other hand call for a meeting at the International Conference Center? And if Mr. President wants to meet legislators, the Defense House is there, the villa is there, the banquet hall is there. Why International Conference Center? However, did Mr. President eventually attend to anybody at the International Conference Center? Capital, no.
And now the Senate has formally denied that former Senate President David Mark is now the Senate leader. Senator Dino Melaye made this clarification at the news conference at the National Assembly complex. He explained that the former president was always singled out to be sworn in separately as a mark of honor during Tuesday's inauguration.
There was a misrepresentation yesterday on NTA where it was erroneously stated that the highly respected Senator David Mark was sworn in as the majority leader. That story is baseless. has no iota of fact in it. It's falsehood and totally not true. What happened is that out of respect for the former Senate president, he was sworn in as an individual instead of the groupings that took place. So we are using this opportunity to correct the erroneous impression out there that he was sworn in as the Senate leader of the 8th Senate.
Former Speaker of the House of Representatives and Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal on Wednesday paid a courtesy call on his successor Yakubu Dogara. Tambuwal was accompanied by the former Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, along both serving and past legislators. The meeting, which lasted a few minutes, witnessed lots of pleasantries and exchange of goodwill messages. And our former military governor of Lagos State, Mohammed Marwa, has returned to the All Progressive Congress with thousands of his supporters across Adamawa State barely a week after resigning from the People's Democratic Party. This was contained in a statement issued on Wednesday in Yola, Adamawa State, by his media aide Bello Zubero. The former ambassador said the decision to return to the APC was jointly reached at a well-attended meeting between him and his supporters under the aegis of the Marwa organization. Speaking at the parley, the former military governor of Borno and Lagos states reminded the gathering that they had no reason to leave APC before, but for the fact that thousands of its members were denied registration into APC in Adamawa State when the party was newly formed. He urged them to forgo their grievances and let bygones be bygones, stressing that with President Muhammadu Buhari in the country as president, things will be better. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Join us again.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident. And it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
This is CoreTV Primetime News, reaching you live from our Lagos studios. If you just join us, a quick reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari meets the nation's security chiefs for the second time within a week behind closed doors. Also, the group of senators opposed to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate president are set to challenge the election in court. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the fraud charges filed against a former governor of Bayelsa State, Timi Presiva, as EFCC case. All our top stories can be found on our social media platforms, like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV News. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the 19.2 billion naira fraud charges filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against a former governor of Bayelsa State, Timi Presiva. Justice Ahmed Mohammed, in a ruling, held that the prosecution's decision to withdraw a similar charge against the defendant from Justice Ivachukwu of the same court was to gain undue advantage over the accused. He argued that the court was slated to hear all applications before the prosecution wrote to inform of its decision to discontinue with the 2.45 billion charge against the Silva. The court noted that the acts amounted to abuse of court process and added that the prosecution's attitude on the matter was aimed at interfering with administration of justice. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has faulted the decision of the Federal High Court in Abuja to dismiss the 42-count charge of stealing brought against a former governor of Bayelsa State, Temipre Osiva. It also maintained that it does not mean that the corruption charges against the former governor have been laid to rest. The court have thrown out the case on the grounds of abuse of court process. But the anti-graft agency insists in a statement that Justice Ahmed Mohammed erred by dismissing matter since the accused person had not taken any plea. It argued that no proof of evidence was also placed before the court, and neither has the trial commenced. EFCC, however, noted that the dismissal of the charge does not amount to a discharge or an acquittal, and it does not prelude the power of the agency to bring fresh charges against the defendants. Members of the House of Assembly or Representatives have condemned the recent killing of a youth corps members in Imo State. These followed a motion raised by Kingsley Chinda, which described the killings as gruesome and unfortunate. He urged the House to call on the federal government to come up with an insurance policy to protect the lives of corps members. The police have arrested 6 suspects in connection with the death of Professor Ahmad Falaki of the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. Falaki was killed in Kano by a mob who thought he was a Boko Haram member. The suspect, Ilyasu Musa, Marcos Ahmed, Montaro, Mato Bello, Hassan, and Nura Ibrahim are to be charged to court for culpable homicide. Meanwhile, the police authority says some officers and men will also face trial for negligence and the discharge of their duties at the crime scene. They were said to have done nothing to rescue the professor and later claimed that the victim and his associates were Boko Haram members. And Kaduna State Police Command has apprehended a 15-year-old boy, Ashimu Lawal, accused of burning his neighbor and shop owner Nura Mashago to death for breaking into his store. Police told CoreTV News that Lawal took to the action as a revenge for late Nura in order to subject him to public ridicule. Lawal had broken into late Nura's shop to steal some properties, including a cell phone and 4,500 naira cash. He thereafter handed the items to his grandfather for safekeeping. Further revelations show that when Lawal's grandfather knew that the stolen items belonged to late Nura, he returned them, an action which was perceived as an affront by the 15-year-old Hashim Lawal, hence the decision to set Nura ablaze. Kaduna State Police Public Relations Officer Zubairu Abdullahi said the suspect, Hashim Lawal, is a thief with a track record for breaking into people's houses and shops. He was also identified as a member of Sarasuke Gang, a group known for killing people at will. Police said investigation has been completed and the suspect will be arraigned in court soon. And now men of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested 3 suspected kidnappers for kidnapping 11-year-old Aminat Ishola and killing her 8 days after. The mastermind, 21-year-old Babatunde Aderomo, who was a sack staff of the bakery belonging to the victim's guardian, was arrested alongside Shino Dalari and Taufik Kola Ajisomo, an Islamic cleric. Police said the kidnappers carried out the criminal act on the 21st of May this year at about 7:30 p.m. at Arugundu near Ijoko area of Ogun State. The victim was then taken to Oshun, Jegede in Ibadan, your state, where she eventually died after Jimoso, one of the suspects in whose house the victim was kept, administered some substances suspected to be poisoned to her. The suspect then put her corpse in a sack and dumped it in front of Ogbere Police Division in Ibadan to escape punishment. Even at that, they still made calls to the relatives of the deceased to demand a 2 million naira ransom. The suspect have confessed to the crime as police vow to make the suspect face the full wrath of the law. And away from that now, the 7-month salaries owed Osun workers by the state government is taking a toll on the residents of the state. Apart from the strike embarked upon by the workers, traders in various markets in Osun State are also resolving to unintentional strike due to low patronage. This, they say, can only change if and when salaries of the striking workers are paid by the state government. Our correspondent Rashid tells us more.
It is no more news that the Osun State government is owing its workers 7-month salary arrears. Aside series of protests which later led to indefinite strike by the workforce, the effect of unpaid salaries are felt in all sectors of the state economy, especially for market women and traders with low patronage. Most of them decry low commercial activities in the market, grossly attributed to inability of the government to pay the striking workers.
People are complaining there's no market because they say government didn't pay the workers for
The total workforce of the Osun State Civil Service is about 20,000, and in states like Osun, which have little or no industry, the civil service is the mainstay of the state economy. According to these lamenting traders, Aregbesola should hearken to the calls of the workers.
All these workers you are seeing are borrowed and are heavily indebted. They have had someone who borrowed up to 12,000 naira. Our advice is for Governor Aregbesola to pay the workers for us to have a pleasant celebration.
While the state government have appealed to the striking workers for patience, the workers are insisting their demand must be met. Rashid, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
And the organized labor in Plateau State on Tuesday announced the suspension of the industrial action embarked upon by the Nigerian Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, and other affiliate unions in the state to protest the non-payment of their salaries and other entitlement by the outgoing Jonah Jang administration. The workers were particularly not happy and have decided to down tools due to the non-payment of 6 to 7 months salary by the immediate past government. However, following appeals from the Governor Simon Lalong administration, the workers on Tuesday were directed to resume work on Wednesday. It was gathered that Lalong has promised to pay 2 months of the salary arrears of the workers within this week. The state chairman of the NLC, Comrade Jibrin Dancy, says the NLC was taking Lalong by his word in the hope that he would pay part of the salary arrears as promptly as he had promised. And more than 3,000 staff from 14 local government council area of Edo State are demanding the payment of their unpaid salaries running into several months. The angry staff decked in black clothes protested around major streets of Benin City while carrying placards inscribed with all manner of wordings and chanting solidarity songs. The protesters called on the present administration of Governor Adams Oshomole and local government commission to offset their backlog of salaries or face their consequences.
At the NUJ Edo Secretariat, staffers of 14 local government councils in protest in their 1,000 stormed councils to lament the untold hardship as a result of their unpaid salaries of about 5 to 9 months, observing that Eson South East, Estako East and Owen East local government councils are the 3 councils that have so far paid and not owing staffs. NUJ State President said they are not slaves and cannot be second citizens, stressing that other agencies have paid, wonder why the local government commission and the state government continue to stifle the system with continuous cry of shortfall in allocation.
We are here today to register our protest, peaceful protest, for the abandonment of local government workers for the past 8 months. For no salary. We have been dialoguing, negotiating, pleading, interventions from various quarters, but they all seem to be in vain. We went on strike for 3 days. We were being reprimanded, called troublemakers, because we demanded for our salaries.
He appealed to the NUJ to help disseminate the information, while also urging the state governor to take care of its responsibility of paying teachers and not abdicate it to local government.
Other citizens that are working, they get their salary. But the local government workers, no salary. Are we second-class citizens in our own system? We want to make it clear. To solve this lingering salary problem in Edo State, the state government must take its responsibility in the payment of teachers' salary. You can see from our banner, the local government pays 100% salary to teachers, while the state is paying 0.
The protesting local government employers later dispersed the NUJ ground to continue their protest, with a stern call to all staffs to continue the protest.
Meanwhile, a Lagos-based legal practitioner, Samuel Adeola, has accused governors in state owing workers' salary of maladministration of public funds. Adeola also blames civil servants for persevering for too long before carrying out. A correspondent, Omota and Law has details.
Industrial action and protest across various sectors of the economy is what we see these days with varying degrees in different states. The reason behind this trend also differ. Some states owe well over 4 months' salaries, while others like Plateau and Imo owe as much as 9 to 13 months of workers' entitlement. It's no news that the strike action embarked by workers, especially civil servants, is costing the country billions of naira. But the challenge remains that the workers are fed up. Report asserts that some have died, while others can simply fend for their families, a condition they are not willing to bear any longer. Commenting on the issue of unpaid salaries, a legal practitioner, Samuel Adeola, accused the governors of the affected states of negligence and lack of creativity to improve internally generated revenue.
They don't have reason to hold any salary, because if their security vote that is unaccounted for has not been tampered with, why should anybody hold salary of staffers? Are they not human beings? Are they not Nigerians? Are they not going to eat at all? You have allowed yourself to be held up to about 13 months. Like in Benue State, 13 months still counting. And you allow things to go on like that. The same governor will go out of his office. Does the governor don't hit? His family don't hit? Assembly speaker was collecting 400 million naira. Security, oh God, for crying out loud. That's why I said the people of Nigeria is the problem of Nigeria.
He urged public leaders and private employers to take the payment of their workers more seriously, as it remains the only mechanism to ensure workers' motivation for improved services. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The ongoing crisis between the management and staff of the Federal Medical Center Owerri has continued with no end in sight. The facility, the biggest in Owerri, the Imo State capital, 7,000 of people have been close to patients for some weeks now. Our correspondent, Ajibade Offiso, has been monitoring the story, present this update on how the people are coping with the closure of the health facility.
Here is the Accident and Emergency Department of the FMC Owerri. You can see behind me most of the beds are empty. Does it mean that there are no accidents in the state? Does it mean there are no victims of accidents? No. There are a lot. Many of them have been here and they've been turned back to other health facilities simply because of the ongoing crisis between the management and workers of the FMC. The allied workers who have been observing what they describe as work and rule have been coming to the center without performing their official duties. They appear mostly in black attires against the norm of all white attires for health workers. Devoid of the usual activities, the Federal Medical Center Owerri has been like this for over 3 weeks now, with management and workers of the center at each other's throats. These workers, who refuse to disclose their identities, spoke on the ongoing crisis.
It's not the same, which is supposed to be the same. Also, from other colleagues that are in the hospital who are due for promotion, some of them 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, They are being suppressed, nobody to promote them. They go for promotion, they choose, in fact they choose, they do interview, but at the end of the day they choose the people they want to promote. So many things have happened. The recent that caused the offspring was the privatization issue, as I got from how they explained to us.
As now the list was 48,000, which I'm one of the list staff here. Now 27,000. 27,000 for example, because us now the list and our 48,000, but here now 27,000. And the promotion, Agram promotion, and we have any areas, and for that promotion,
the leaders of this joint union had a press conference today. Then yesterday they footed what the PAMSEC of Ministry of Health said, where he alleged many things on us. So for us to start work, we'll resolve, unless she is sacked, we cannot come back to work. Period.
While the warring continues between the management and the staff, the people call on the government to come to their aid and provide lasting solution. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
The National Emergency Management Agency has assumed full responsibility for the provision of foodstuff to internally displaced persons IDPs camp in Maiduguri in the Borno State capital. The decision came on the heels of a recent assessment by NEMA management and Borno State government on the welfare situation in the camps. NEMA spokesman Manzal Ezekiel said in a statement that the move is to improve the welfare of IDPs shelter in 22 locations and those staying in host communities. Until now, the Borno State government had augmented the supply of foodstuff by NEMA, but it made an appeal to the federal government through the agency to take full responsibility for the feeding of the IDPs. The state government would now sponsor other items not covered by the agency, in addition to providing more toilet facilities for displaced persons. And in business now, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode says his administration will continue to create a conducive environment for both local and foreign investors in the state. Ambode stated this while playing host to the president of Dangote Group of Companies, Aliko Dangote, in his office. Ambode says the move is in line with his promise to create more jobs for the residents. Earlier, Dangote hinted that the purpose of the meeting was aimed at briefing Ambode on his commitment to complete the ongoing petroleum chemical refinery and fertilizer at the Lekki Free Trade Zone, which, according to him, will provide jobs for over 30,000 residents.
And I just call on other investors that wherever it is that we can assist, we are willing and we are ready to make sure that investors have comfortable life and comfortable business profile in Lagos State.
Also assuring him that we are going to do a gas pipeline from Boni to here, under the sea, which when we finish, Lagos State will never ever experience what you call blackout. There will be lights 24 hours a day. So there are quite a lot of things that will come, along, creating so many jobs.
The president of Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Wava, has said that issues of poverty, unemployment, and the price wages worsened by Boko Haram insurgency required immediate global attention. A statement on Tuesday stated that Waba enjoined the International Labour Organization to reveal the government of President Muhammadu Buhari and gave the necessary technical and institutional support to revive the culture of social dialogue in the country. Responding to the address of the Director General, International Labour Organization, Guy Ryder, at the former session of the International Labour Conference in Geneva, Waba argued that the circumstances were man-made and were therefore culpable. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now. We'll be back with sport and other stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that will be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information
for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power. In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Outside Nigeria now, the United States is to send up to 450 military trainers to Iraq to help train and advise local forces fighting Islamic State, the White House says. President Obama made the decision following a request from Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi, and he says a major factor in the fall of Ramadi was the lack of training of Iraqi forces. A troop will be deployed to the Takadum military base in Anbar province. It sees Ramadi, the capital of Anbar. The move is aimed at enabling more Iraqi, mostly Sunni tribal volunteers to integrate into the Iraqi army and fight against Islamic State. There are currently around 3,000 U.S. military personnel, including trainers and advisors. And 2 assailants were killed and 1 injured in a thwarted attack at Takana Temple in Luxor, Egypt on Wednesday morning. The 3 men who were in a car tried to enter the temple's parking lot when a plainclothes policeman forced it to stop. Egypt Tourism Ministry said security forces confronted them and 2 were killed. 1 died when he detonated explosives he was carrying and another was shot in the head. Wednesday's attack coincided with signing of the African Tripartite Free Trade Agreement in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. Several African leaders, including Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, are attending the meeting in the Sinai Peninsula, hundreds of kilometers away from the site of Wednesday's attack. And police in Malaysia have arrested 4 foreigners believed to have been part of a group of tourists who stripped naked at the summit of Mount Kinabalu. The arrested tourists were 2 Canadian brothers, a Dutch woman and a British woman aged between 20 and 33, said Jalauddin Abdul Rahman, police commissioner in the eastern Malaysian state of Sabah. A local magistrate court said they will be held for 4 days while the obscene acts that took place at Mountain was investigated, and the suspect could face up to 3 months in jail or a fine if convicted. Now, Pope Francis has approved the creation of a tribunal to hear cases of bishops accused by governing or covering up child abuse by pedophile priests in the unprecedented move to follow a recommendation from a clerical sex abuse. The tribunal will have the power to punish bishops who fail to protect young victims. A statement from the Vatican said the department will come under the auspices of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. Its aim would be to judge bishops with regard to crimes of the abuse of office when connected to the abuse of minors, the statement added. Father Fedro Lobado, a Vatican spokesman, said bishops could also be judged if they had failed to prevent abuse from taking place. And out on actress and activist Laverne Cox will be preserved in her current glories from her all eternity when she becomes the first transgender woman to receive the honor of a Madame Tussauds Wassersworth portrait. Cox, best known for her Emmy-nominated turn-on Orange is the New Black, will see her work unveiled later this month at San Francisco's Pride Conference. The figure will ultimately live at Madame Tussauds' San Francisco location in Fisherman's Wharf. Being immortalized in works is a rite of passage signifying the achievement of a certain iconic status in the entertainment world, and the process of having one created is intricate, involving hundreds of measurements and painstaking attention to detail. And in sports now, Super Eagles head coach Stephen Keshi is optimistic that his team will beat their counterparts from Chad, having failed to qualify in the last Nations Cup. He was speaking at a press briefing ahead of the 2017 World Cup Gabon qualifiers slated for the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna. Our correspondent Amina Nebi has more on this report from our studios.
Normally it should be a competitive game, a competitive match, but I don't really know much about the Chadians, and so we expect a tough outing.
I think we're expecting winning. We need to win the game, that's all.
It's unfortunate we couldn't qualify for the last Nations Cup, but I think we have learned that has teach us a lot of lessons.
We are here to correct every mistake, and we don't have any excuse. It's just a second chance, just like a second chance that's been given to us.
The spirit of the team is good, and everyone is geared up for the game on Saturday. So hopefully we'll come out, winners.
The motivation is going to start this weekend. Winning the game this weekend, by God's grace, is going to give the team more motivation and Nigerians more motivation, and they will be happy that.
And now the bidding process for the 2026 World Cup has been postponed amid allegations around the 2018 and 2022 tournament, as FIFA Secretary General Jerome Wake said it was a nonsense to begin the process in the current climate. The vote to decide who will host the 2026 World Cup is due to make place in Kuala Lumpur in May 2017. The United States are front runners to stage the tournament, but Canada, Mexico and Colombia are also thought to be interested. Russia and Qatar were selected to host the 2018 and 2022 World Cups by a secret ballot of FIFA's 22 executive members in December 2010, but Swiss prosecutors are now investigating alleged financial irregularities surrounding the bidding process, as Russia and Qatar have denied any wrongdoing. And now the executive board and management of Nigerian National League have threatened to impose a heavy monetary fine on clubs that have continued to use unregistered and unapproved match jersey in the ongoing league. The defaulting clubs will henceforth face a penalty of 100,000 naira only in the first instance, and other sanctions may follow if the trend does not stop. The NLL Secretary Lawrence Cartin, in a letter sent to all the league clubs, stated that the use of unregistered and unapproved jerseys are in clear contravention of Article 16, Section 11 of the Rules and Regulations of the League, adding that the offenders are liable to the fine of 100,000 naira. And still in sport, Brazil's Marta Vieira da Silva became the all-time leading goal scorers in women's World Cup history as she netted her 15th finals goal in a 2-0 win over South Korea. The 29-year-old forward's second-half penalty took her clear of former Germany striker Brigitte Prinz. Da Silva's teammate Formiga opened the scoring to become, at 37, the oldest goal scorer in the tournament's history. Making her 137 international appearance, she was then fouled in the penalty area by Chizon Yoon to present Marta with the chance to make history. And West Ham has named former defender Slaven Bilic as their new manager. The 46-year-old replaces Sam Allardyce, who left by mutual consent last month after the Hammers finished 12th in the Premier League. Bilic was signed a 3-year deal, said it is a great place to play and he feels like home. He played 54 times for the Upton Park side between 1996 and 1997 and managed Croatia for 6 years, beating England twice in the Euro 2008 qualifiers. You've been watching CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go tonight, a recap of our major headline. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari meets the nation's security chiefs for the second time within a week behind closed doors. We also reported that a group of senators opposed to the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President are set to challenge the election in court. And a federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the fraud charges filed against the former governor of Bayelsa State, Timi Silva, as EFCC kicks. And that's it on our primetime news tonight. Many thanks for watching. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Frank Omalape. Have a splendid night rest.